Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and a warm welcome to our estimate lecture. Miss Asrianty Masud as our course lecturer and Miss Meti Maspupah as my academic supervisor. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Endang Fitri Wijayanti, student ID 12320600047 from the Biology Education Study Program, Department of Mathematics and Natural Science Education, Faculty of Tarbiyah and Teacher Training, UIN Sunan Gunung Jati, Bandung. Today, I am honored to present my research proposal seminar entitled Development of Digital Branching Assessment X-Line based on articulate storyline tree towards science process scale on excretory system material. So let's start with the background of this research. In the era of the Industrial Revolution 4.0, digital technology has become an inseparable part of education. However, there is a striking paradox that caught my attention. Based on data from the Ministry of Education and Culture in 2023, 78% of senior high school in Indonesia have adopted digital technology in their learning process, yet only 34% have implemented it in their assessment system. This means there is a 44% point gap between the use of technology in teaching and in evaluation. More importantly, teachers tend to use technology merely as a tool for content delivery through presentation, videos, and learning platform. Meanwhile, its role in evaluation and assessment remain very limited. And in fact, assessment is just as crucial as instruction itself, because without meaning assessment, teachers cannot obtain sufficient information about their student actual competency development. On the other side, we know that science process skill or SPS are fundamental competencies that students must master ranging from observation and classification to applying concept. However, the reality shows that most assessment instruments used in school are still dominated by conventional tests that only measure low-level cognitive abilities. The situation is further complicated by the characteristic of the excretory system material itself, which is abstract, complex, and involve psychological process that cannot be observed directly. From this background emerged the idea of developing X-Line, which stands for Excretory Learning Interactive Evaluation, a digital branching assessment based on articulate storyline tree designed to be adaptive and branching in order to measure XSPS indicator. Based on the background I have just presented, this research formula for main equation. First, how is the validity of the X-line instrument according to expert judgment? Second, how is the practically of X-line based on the response of biology teacher and grade 11 student? Third, how is the effectiveness of X-line in measuring and improving student science process skill? And fourth, how is the SPS profile of student before and after using X-line? These four questions are then operationalized into four parallel research objectives: to analyze validity, to analyze practicality, to measure effectiveness through Endang score, and to describe the development of student SPS profile per indicator diagnostically. This research is expected to contribute from two dimensions. Theoretically, X-line aimed to enrich the academic literature on digital assessment based on branching scenarios, while also providing empirical evidence of the relevance of constructivism theory in the context of adaptive assessment. Practically, students will gain an interactive and adaptive. Teacher will obtain detailed SPS diagnostics. School will have an innovative instrument, and that support educational digitalization in line with the national curriculum policy. And the researchers serve as reference for developing similar assessment system on different material. The theoretical framework of this research began with the learning outcome of PSF in the Merdeka curriculum, specifically the point emphasizing the relationship between organ structure in organ system and their function in responding to internal and external stimuli. From the learning outcome, I derived 6 learning outcome adjustment indicator, ranging from analyzing the anatomical structure, identifying and formulating conclusion based on case simulation in branching flow. Their six indicator clearly demonstrate that this excretory system material demand high-order scientific thinking, which simply cannot be measured by conventional tests alone. This is precisely where excellence step in, and the product is developed the 5K specification. There are articulate storyline tree platform, and grade is 11 MIPA, and then a SPS indicator, a branching scenario design, and the PPE development model from research and clean, planning, production, and evaluation. And the entire product will then be evaluated across four quality criteria: validity, practically, effectiveness, and SPS profile. And then with the expectation that excellent will be declared valid, practical, effective, and capable of diagnostically mapping student science process scale. This result is also built upon a systematic review of relevant previous studies, and from this review, a significant research gap is identified. There is no study that specifically developed a digital assessment instrument beyond mere learning media with an adaptive branching approach focused on a science process scale indicator on excretory system material for grade 11 senior high school using the articulate storyline tree platform. And to answer the first question, the study employs a quantitative approach complemented by qualitative data. The method used is design and development, or D&D. The development model is PPE, planning, production, and evaluation. And the full testing design is a one-group pretest and post-test design. And the population of this study is all grade 11 MIPA students with the sample selected through convenient sampling. And then data collection is carried out through six instruments. It's designed to address a different aspect evaluation. Three expert validation sets from material expert, media, and evaluation, and two response questionnaires from the biology teacher and student, and one SPS pretest and post-test to address the third and fourth research question on effectiveness and SPS profile. The data analysis technique is structured into four aspects. First, validity, analyze using Likert scale percentage, and second, practically, also analyzed through Likert scale. Third, effectiveness, measuring using n-gain score. And fourth, SPS profile analysis from pretest and post-test. And data normality will be tested using the Shapiro wheel if the sample size is less than 50, which will then determine whether a parity test or Wilcoxon sign-brain test. And this research process is carried out systematically through three PPE phase. The planning phase begins with a preliminary study through classroom observation and interview with the biology teacher, followed by curriculum analysis to align excellent SPS, and continue to validating all research instruments. And then the production phase covered the development of complete branching scenario script, media producing using articulate student tree, internal self-review, interactive expert validation, and product revision until the product is declared valid. And the evaluation phase begin with a limited trial involving 6 to 8 students, followed by revision. The main field trial consists of a pre-test treatment in the form of X-line. And finally, comprehensive data analysis, including n-gain, Shapiro wheel, and parity test. That concludes the presentation of my research proposal seminar. I firmly believe that X-line is normally an innovation in assessment instrument, but a concerted step toward a more meaningful, adaptive, and data-driven science education in Indonesia. I sincerely thank the S.Si lecturer for your attention, guidance, and invaluable feedback. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.